And welcome to the instruction video showing you how to build your very own cool robot. So before we start, guys, a couple of words on safety. The key thing is make sure you've read your woodworking kit safety sheet. Everything you need to know is in there. It's really important, so please do read it. I also want to pay special attention to the wires that we use in our kits. They do have sharp edges on them, so be careful of those. You can sand them with sandpaper if you want to, but if you happen to put a wire inside a body and have it poking up, you absolutely must put a bead on the end of it. Otherwise, it creates an eye-poking hazard. It's really, really important, this one, guys, so make sure you do it. Okay, thanks. To build your character, you will need a hammer to hammer in the dowels. A mallet is fine, or a little hammer like this. Any hammer you've got is totally fine. A pair of pliers like these are also handy for working with wires because you can cut little bits off like that, or you can use it to bend it, or even push the wires in if there's a hole on your character. So that's that. And the other thing you could do is just a little block of wood like this to use as a sanding block to wrap the sandpaper around to make sanding easier. We include these fantastic glue dots in all of our packs, and these are great for sticking on nuts and bolts and hair and all that kind of stuff to the characters. But of course, other glues are available. You could use a glue gun or some craft PVA or proper wood glue, or if an adult's doing it, then super glue as well. Any of those will do. And finally, if you want to add colour to your character, we can highly recommend these little Brian paint sticks. They're fab. Acrylic paints are brilliant too. Or of course, you can just use some Sharpies as well. So if you need any of these things, pause the video now and go and get them. So let's talk you through what you're going to find in your cool robot kit. So first of all is your instruction card. Have a good read of that. A woodworking kit safety sheet. Also have a very good read of that. You'll have some sandpaper in there. Your very own glue dots you can use. You'll have a head, a body in the components bag, 4 legs, 2 feet and 5 dowels. The longer one is for the head. And you'll also have this really cool accessories pack, which is unique to every kit. Let's tip this out and see what's in there. So these are the accessories I got in my kit, but one of the best things about our kits is that all the accessory packs are different. So you can make your character completely unique. Ours has things like washers in you can use for eyes, or maybe you prefer to use buttons. It's got some beads, some curls or wool you can use for hair. It's got some wires here that you can bend into a nice smiley mouth for your character, and even some scrap wood that you can use to make a little friend. Okay then, let's get started. So next step, we're going to cover sanding. Well, why do we sand? Well, you can see these blocks here have little bits of kind of splinters, I suppose, hanging over the edge. And first of all, we want to take those off so we don't give ourselves any splinters. Secondly, we want to make it look nice. And the more you sand it, the smoother it gets and the nicer it looks. Finally, this sharp edge here, where it's been cut with a saw, this edge here is called the aris. And we want to take the aris off because that stops the wood from being split accidentally by knocking it or something like that. So when it comes to sanding, there's lots of different ways that you can do it. But one of the easiest ways is just to put the sandpaper on your bench in front of you and rub the block on that to get it nice and smooth, like so. Another way you can do it is just by holding the sandpaper in your hand and doing this. But a good thing is if you have got a sanding block to hand, then use this, wrap it around the block like so it's nice and tight. And then you've got something good to sand against. And then you can go ahead and sand your character. So the next thing to note is that the lines running down your piece of wood, they're called the grain. And if we sand across the grain like this, we can actually put tiny scratches all the way across, and you'll be able to see those. So as a general rule, we like to sand with the grain. So that means with the lines like this. On the end of the piece of wood, that's called the end grain, you can see it's kind of at a diagonal, so that's how we'll need to sand it, at a diagonal, like this, okay? Okay, that covers sanding. So before you start your project, you want to make sure everything is fully sanded, including the dowels, even little splinters on the end of the dowels. Just really gently take the edge of those off, so they're nice and ready to go as well. Once you've got all of your components sanded, we'll see you on the next step. So here is everything beautifully sanded and ready for the build part. So there's a couple of things to go over here, but essentially you have got the smaller dowels here, the shorter ones, and one longer one. The longer one is to attach the head to the body, and the shorter ones are to attach the legs. Now we always include an extra one too, because maybe you'll split one or you might need it for some reason, but we only need 4, so I'm going to put that to one side. Now, the way to do this is to put the dowels into the legs first. So you just pop it over the hole like this, and it should fit nice and tightly, and you just tap it with a hammer, tap it gently, and then listen for the sound changing, because when the sound changes, that's when you know it's gone all the way through. And that's what you need to do for all 4 of the legs. But before you do it, sometimes the dowels, they're a little bit thinner or a little bit fatter, so you've got to make sure they fit properly. If you end up with a dowel that's really loose, like this one, there's a really easy way to fix that, and I just want to show you that right now. So, you've got glue dots in your pack. If you tear one of those off, put that to one side, and you'll see you've got the glue dot there. Now, if you just put that onto the end of the dowel, round the end like this, we're just going to push it nice and tightly, and then pull that and throw it away. And then we put that dowel back into the hole, and you will see the glue dot then smushes into the hole. Now, there's a little bit of the glue dot left over there. You can pick that off and just pull it away. But what that'll do, it means you can still move the leg, but it'll fix it being too loose and stop it falling off and things like that. And that will mean your character will be able to stand up, okay? So if you come across that problem, that's what to do. But I'm going to move on now and hammer the 4 dowels into the legs. So that's the 4 legs done. We can attach those to the body straight away, and we can do that in 2 ways. We can either push it and twist it at the same time, so push and twist, and you can get it all the way in, but it takes quite a lot of strength. So if you don't fancy that, you can have another go with a hammer. Just put it over the hole, and we're going to give it a gentle tap. And there we go, that's an arm and a leg on. Then we'll do the other side. And then the final arm. Okay, so now he's got arms and legs, and they should work like these ones here. They should be nice and tight, and they hold themselves up, okay? So, there we go, that's that. Now we're going to move on to the head. Now on this one, I want to put the dowel into the head block first. So I'm going to pop it over the hole like this, and tap it with a hammer. Okay, and that's gone all the way in, and then I can attach the head to the body. Push and twist until we get it just like this. Okay, so that's that part. Next, we want to attach our feet, and they're just going to stick onto the bottom there, and we're going to use glue dots on that. So I'll show you how to do it. Peel off a couple of the glue dots. Now, of course, you can use other glue for this, PVA or super glue, anything you want to, but we're going to use this. Now, on this occasion, I would suggest we put the glue dot on the actual bottom of the foot, and try and make sure before you start that you've got any dust off, because dust stops it from sticking. Just push it really, really hard, and then gently peel back like this, and try to leave the glue dot on there, and try your best not to touch that glue dot. Okay, now as soon as we've done that, we're going to set the leg. Now you could put the legs in the middle or at the front or at the back, whichever you want to do, but I'm just going to go straight in the middle, slightly towards the back. So I think about there. And then what you want to do is just push down nice and hard. Okay, and that's it. Now we'll do the second one. Okay, and now he's got his feet on. So at this point, he should stand up. And he does, he stands up absolutely great. Now the next bit is my favourite bit, which is decoration. See you on the other side. Oh, so now we are on to my favourite part of making a character, and that is decorating our character. Now, if you are going to paint your character, this is probably a good point to do it, because you can paint the blocks before you stick things onto it. So if you want to paint it, now's your time to go and do that, but I'll let you do that. So I'm just going to show you a few different options. Using the glue dots here, we can stick on things for eyes, and there's loads of different options here. You can have eyes like this, or you can have different eyes, or maybe you can make that a monocle, or you can use those in the center. You can use the wool for hair. You could use curls and stick those on. Really, whatever your imagination can come up with. But I would like to show you how to stick on things using these glue dots. So I've come up with an idea for my cool robot, and I'm just going to show you how to do that. So on this one, I know where I want the eyes to go, so I'm just going to go roughly there, and I'm going to push a glue dot onto the piece of wood and then peel that away, and then I'm going to get another glue dot and do the same thing right next to it for the other eye. So I'm going to pop it right next to it there. It's slightly wonky, but I kind of like them when they're a bit wonky. Okay, brilliant. And I'm going to use these two eyes here. Now all I need to do now is push and push. There you go, my cool robot's got eyes slightly wonky to one side. That's what we like. Now I'm also going to use one of these glue dots to stick something inside the eye. I'm going to use these tiny black things here because I think they're really cool, these little beads. So I'm going to peel off the glue dot on this occasion, and what I want to do is try and take half of it. So I've just kind of ripped it in two. It's a bit tricky. Ripped it in two, and I'm going to put it on the back of this little eye here. Now of course you can use PVA or something like that if you want to, but I'm going to stick with this. And then I'm going to pop it right in the middle like that and just push it down. There we go, that's one. And then I'm going to use the other half of that glue dot and do the other eye. Ah, doesn't he look fab? That's brilliant. So next I'm going to need a mouth. So I like to use wires for mouths. So I've got myself this pair of pliers here. Now pliers have two parts. This part is a holding part and this part here is a cutting part. So I'm just going to bend the wire by hand and make a little smile that I'm happy with. I think I'm going to cut it about there. So I'm going to hold this here, use the cutter, squeeze and wiggle, and there we go, I've got a smile. Now I think he looks pretty good with a really big wonky smile. Now again, we're going to stick that on with glue dots. So what you can do for wires is if you get the glue dot like this, and this time we want to take the whole thing off, and you see it's a big long thing like this, and what we want to do is stretch it out as long as we can. Now, can you see I'm going to put this on the back of the wire. I'm just going to try and actually put it all the way on that wire. That's it, that's covered all the way over the back. Of course you can use more than one if you want to. And I'm just going to put that in place, slightly wonky. Push it into position. Now you'll need to make sure the wire's nice and flat. You see how it's flat there? Make sure yours is flat as well, otherwise you can struggle to stick them on. But here you go, he's got my smile on. So I'm going to go ahead now and using the glue dots, I'm going to stick on something on the back, this little peg here on the back, maybe some wool for hair, and we'll speed this up and see you on the other side. Okay, so this is my character. I'm not sure what to call him, maybe Bob or Bobina, I'm not sure. What do you think, guys? But I love the hair. Hi, my name's Bob. Okay, so you guys can go to town with this, put loads more things on his belly and his arms and colour it in, do whatever you guys want to do. But don't forget, you've also got in your pack the little bits of scrap wood. So see what you can do with that as well. I'm going to have a quick go, see what I can come up with. See you in a sec. So welcome to Kevin, my little scrapwood character. Hello, hello. He's going to be friends with Bob or Bobina. Still haven't decided yet. But anyway, guys, you get the idea. Keep sticking stuff on, colour them in, make them your very own. And I know you will just love making them as much as I do. Please don't forget to send us your pictures. We just love seeing the characters that have been made. So please, please send us your pictures. Thanks for watching, guys. Have fun. Bye. 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 Bye.